Well, in other news breaking just a short while ago, eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede has been arrested on corruption charges. She's now been released along with two co-accused on bail of 50,000 rand. Let's get to the latest from our reporter Dessen Thathia. Dessen, I understand you're with the Hawks. In fact, he's doing that interview now. Let's listen in.
Give those conditions to the accused. So yes, the investigations will still continue, and as such we'll find out from the investigating team as to when we'll be able to have a trial date.
Kindly just furnish us with the exact charges that are faced by the accused that we've just witnessed.
Well, the charges range amongst others your fraud, corruption, your Poker Act, that is money laundering. Those are the main charges, but there are others, of course, that relates to the municipalities, violations. So those, we're talking about 7 or 8 charges that have been preferred against the accused.
Hangwani Zandile from Newsroom Africa. We heard the magistrates expressing concern over the integrity of your investigation, given the fact that, in fact, the mayor will still remain in her position. How confident are you that you will be able to do your job without interference, but more importantly, the protection of witnesses?
Well, the protection of witnesses is our responsibility, of course, and we have our own operational, matters that we will, of course, deal with. If we need to get intelligence to come in to assist us, we can always tap into on those services. But in terms of the mayor herself, we are not responsible for firing or for hiring. That is the matter that will be dealt by the municipality itself. So the conditions were made very clear by the magistrate, and I think she was very emphatic that anyone who violates that will forfeit her bail, and they will remain in custody for the rest of the investigations as well as the trial.
So does this mean that you will closely be monitoring her? How will you know whether or not the mayor or the other 2 co-accused get in touch with these very specific departments that were outlined, that being Durban Solid Waste, that being legal, that being HR, and that being finance?
Well, it will depend on the information that we get. We can't now say that we are in a fighting mode. We are not in that space. The fact of the matter is that anyone who violates the court conditions, they will have to face the court.
Brigadier, is it fair to read into what the magistrate said earlier, saying that the last time this case was in court, that the investigating officer had said that there had been threats of intimidation, and the reason why these arrests were expedited was to prevent that intimidation? So is it fair to read into that the mayor and her co-accused were some of those that were behind that?
Look, the issues were put to the court, and the magistrate did, of course, ventilate on them. So to say, to pinpoint, a particular person, I think I will be wrong. But what is critical is that there were those threats, and those threats are being dealt with. And I think for us to be able to bring this case now is for the fact that we wanted to make sure that there is no interference when it comes to this case. Look, we are not only looking at this case. There are other matters that we are still dealing with. So there's a lot of investigations that are still going to happen within eThekwini. It's not only eThekwini only. We've got other teams that are working in different provinces. And if we experience the same, the same conditions, we will put them to the court, and they are the ones. The court will be the one that will decide.
There have been questions that have been raised over the timing of this particular arrest coming just after the elections, and some saying that it could have been part of a deal that was struck so as not to embarrass the ANC prior to that. How do you respond to that?
Well, I don't know where the deal is coming from, and then I think it's neither there or here. We deal with investigations, and I think what's critical as well, we need to make sure that the prosecutors that we are working with, we arm them with information. For us to rush cases just for the mere of rushing them, it will just compromise everything. So there's no, I don't know where it's coming from. So the issues of elections or no elections, they don't feature anywhere. We are just dealing with the case as they come.